Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Pushing 5 to play in the third. Kobe. Crawford. Hogan. Bring it on, Kobe, baby.
You are now tuned into the chat room. Your favorite baller's favorite podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Chat Room Podcast. I am the Senator, and with me today I got Coach Francis.
What's going on, y'all?
We got Essay.
What up?
And making his return, we got Joseph in the building.
What's going on?
Now, in pre-production, Essay and Coach said right away, I didn't watch the verses, so don't bring up the verses yet.
Why you gotta expose like that?
So that was going to be the first thing I talked about, but I guess if you want to hear my insight on that, go check out the Not So Soft podcast.
And if you want to check out mine eventually on Talks with the Chatterbox, we'll get
There you go.
expose over here.
Man, this is the banter that people said that they wanted back, you know? So we just got to give it to them. How's everybody doing? You guys good?
Tired, bro.
That's the theme of the week.
Went to friggin' Banff. Yeah, I'm fucking tired. But yeah, I'm good. Nonetheless, there's been a few good games on. So I was able to watch the Raptors game last night, the Denver game. Yeah, so watch some good games. So that's been a blessing, but I'm tired, man.
Feel you. Essay, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's been a crazy busy week with NBA, some intense matchups. We're finally going to be launching. I think by the time this episode drops, we've already launched Talks to the Chatterbox. Finally, this is third time's the charm because I think this is the third time on here I've said we're going to drop it. It hasn't dropped yet. So.
Yeah, the first one was the pilot episode. The way
again, you keep exposing, right? But yeah, I'm excited to finally get it up and running. So looking forward to seeing how everybody likes that and just what's going on around two, man. But I'm not going to get into it yet.
All right. Joseph, you were supposed to return a couple weeks ago and explain your Instagram handle.
Oh my gosh, I don't have no explanation for that.
Damn.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how my week was.
The title of this episode is Expose.
That's what I'm saying, man. I had so much Raptor stuff ready. This guy's talking about, explain your name. And I'm just like...
Man, you want me to tell you why, though? I've been meaning to ask you about it because for the people that don't know, Joseph had to change his Instagram handle. So, like, the first couple episodes that you're on, it has one handle. And then you changed it. So then,
listen, I gotta keep people.
You're just switching it up.
Keep people on their toes, man.
That's crazy.
Yo.
We had a running joke about how every episode Joe has a different AKA. So stay tuned for the next.
Stay tuned for that. He's shaking his head over there.
But all right, Joseph, how you doing, man?
That's good, man. Raptors are tied in their series.
Yes, sir.
Everything is blessed, man. It's blessed. That's a very large ring that Sean is wearing. It looks...
this thing right here?
This guy.
Glad you noticed. It's a replica championship ring for those who are listening. And
the Stone Cold look that Francis is giving the screen right now.
Not impressed, man.
All right, so let's just jump into something real quick. Let's jump into something kind of light. So have any of you guys been watching any new shows? Any shows that you want to put our audience on?
So I'm keeping up with this show that I've been keeping up for a while called The 100. I don't know if any of you guys watched it. They're in their hopefully last season. I say hopefully,
bro.
because...
Honestly,
yeah.
I'm gonna get into this, but like after the first three seasons,
Yeah.
Trash.
Exactly.
I stopped
it-
watching after the
yeah.
third season. I think I
Yeah,
I-
that's when I fell off.
Maybe into 4 because after Alexa and after Mount Weather,
Yep.
after all that stuff, it just
It goes up and down, but
they turn.
Wasn't there like a gap for between seasons too?
Yeah,
Like a
no, it's
large.
not.
Yeah.
Not a huge gap, but there was a gap.
it was a transition to Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think that's the time I
But,
fell off it, like before I went to Netflix.
They turn all the tough characters into like punks. Like Octavia is a punk now. She's so whack now.
Bro, that changes.
Now she's whack. Yeah.
Trust me, that changes.
No.
They go far left with her.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm watching into the last season, whatever.
Oh yeah, okay.
But like she was so tough.
Yeah.
And then now it's like
she was.
I don't know. Like, and then same thing with Raven. She was tough. Clark is like a poppy show now. She's just on something else. Like I don't know. Like
she's just the main character, so they have to involve her somehow.
Somehow it goes left, it goes right. It's just so weird, yo. Like and then like Bella, like and at first I never liked Murphy.
Yeah.
I never liked him. But now I'm like, he's the realest one out of everybody on the show.
He is.
He's the realest one. Yeah, so I'm like,
Raven was my favorite character, but now they find some kind of techie thing for her to have a reason to be there.
Yeah.
It's true. It fell off. I have a hard time quitting on shows, right? It's like in my mind, I've dedicated so many hours to this thing. I have to see it through. Senator knows what I'm talking about.
I put in the time with Grey's Anatomy, so it's but the one thing I will say is Raven, she's actually been, I think she directed like 3 episodes in the season in this last
one.
So
really,
she got her directorial debut.
Yeah, because they were saying that other seasons were trash.
Yeah.
So they're trying new things.
Try something new, man. Because bro, like trash.
I'm so annoyed about
it. No, honestly, because when it first came out, I used to watch it.
It lost steam.
I used to tell Sandra all the time, like, yo, this show is tough. So tough. And then I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on with this show? Like,
it got kind of like wild after. Yeah, it's getting all over the place.
It was like freaking.
I might get back into it.
Nah, once I fall off of a show, I fall off of a show.
So it's like you're dead.
Yeah, it's like that's why I'd rather wait till like all the seasons drop and then just binge it through because then I won't feel like I need to stop watching it, like because then I already invested the time into it. But if it's like I was watching it every week, like as it was released, right?
It would drop on Wednesday,
and then when they had the break, I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And I think I watched
this is my chance to escape.
First couple episodes of like season 4, and I was like, I'm not feeling the show anymore. And like from there, it was a wrap. Like I didn't watch the show after that. Joseph, you got any shows?
Nah, the only show I'm gonna try and get a hold of is, I want to say, I saw an ad for it last night during the game, the Wolves show, Raised by Wolves, or something like that. Yeah, apparently they're on the 3rd episode, so I'm probably going to try and check that out. Yeah.
All right. Coach?
I want to be watching the NBA stuff, so like nothing, no new shows that I've been privy to or I've jumped on.
I just finished watching the first episode of Power Book.
Oh yeah.
How was it?
Power Book 2. All right.
Yo, careful, because sometimes my girl listens to this podcast. So,
here's what I'll say. Some of the characters I hated in Power are back in Power Book 2, and I'm like, I don't know how long I can.
I'll say it. I can't watch a whole series centered on Tyreek. You mad?
Hey, come on now.
Crazy. I never watched an episode of Power in my life.
What?
Ever.
Really?
You got 3 seasons you can watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
It kind of falls off a cliff.
and
was
don't even watch the second half of season 6. Oh God,
Oh no.
talk about wasted time.
I never watched Power. I've never watched Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy is good. It just takes a bit.
I never watched what's the other show that everyone was watching about winter is coming or
Games
whatever.
of Thrones.
Never watched that shit.
Oh, you're not missing.
Never watched.
Yo, every time I think of that show, I think of the season finale, and I remember Twitter was on fire.
The only thing that I watched from that stuff is Game of Zones. That's it.
Yeah.
That shit is funny.
Yeah, it was
It's funny.
that was a good series.
But yeah, no, like I will say, like if you ended up watching all 6 seasons of Power, you'll probably watch the first episode of Power Book 2, and then from there you'll decide like if you really want to continue watching it. Like I'm not gonna lie, I like the addition of Method Man to the cast.
They needed somebody.
Yeah, and I think I like where they're gonna put Mary J. Blige's character, but at the same time, it just reminds me of Power.
Yeah,
where it was like I was really invested in the first 3 seasons.
Yeah,
and then after that, I just kept watching it because I just was already there, right?
Yeah.
Like as I said, like that second half of season 6, the Who Shot Ghost angle that they did for like 6 episodes, like it was
my God,
from all the characters' point of views. I was like, all right, man, I'm okay.
They had an entire episode centered on a side character who probably had a total 10 episodes in the entire 5 seasons. And they gave her an entire episode in the final season of Power.
Lazy.
Explain
just
that.
Lazy.
I just didn't.
Just lazy.
Well, let's just move forward. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Also, shout out to The Boys season 2. I want to get into that.
Yeah.
The Boys is a really good show.
Yeah.
From Amazon Prime.
yeah. All right. So, when we made our picks I think it was the pilot episode or episode 1, we made our picks of who we thought were gonna win. We found out some of the winners. So, Coach of the Year was Nick Nurse. Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis. 6th Man of the Year, Trez.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year was Ja. Most Improved was Brandon Ingram. So from those lists, were you guys surprised by any of the selections?
The only one that I got wrong, and like it could have been anybody, was the 6th Man.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of agreed on Lou.
Lou, yeah.
Like, it's Lou's award. Like he's won it 3 times. Like
Yeah. That's the only one where I'm like, it could have honestly gone to any of those guys. Like you could have made a case for Trez, for Lou, or for
Jay. Schroeder.
Yeah.
Schroeder, yeah.
Could have made a case for any of those guys. So
I'm not surprised, but because it could have gone either way to Bam or Ingram, but I think seeing Bam and how much he's grown, I would have more edged it to him. I think it was close to when they posted the results.
it was like 40.
It was
like 40 votes separated. Up.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It was like 42 to 36 or something like that. But yeah, it was crazy. But that's the only one I was kind of waving on. And yeah, 6th Man, if it wasn't Lou, it definitely would have been Trez. So yeah, it's pretty much as expected for me.
Joseph, what you got?
The only award that really surprised me was Defensive Player. I thought it was going to go to Anthony Davis. Or that other guy on Utah.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff with the awards is narrative, right? So Giannis, like per possession, because he can defend many possessions. Like defensively, he looks better and stuff. But like if you look at this impact on the game, there are other players who do more defensively than he does. Gobert changes a whole series around with his interior defense. Giannis reminds me a lot like what Braun used to do back in the day, like weak side block, like that kind of stuff. Like he does a lot of that stuff because he's just super athletic and stuff. But I wouldn't say he's a game changer defensively. Like
that's why I was.
That's being shown right now. So.
Yeah. But like you look at guys like AD, like he can change the game defensively. Gobert changed the game defensively. Even like Draymond, like as annoying as he is, like when he's locked in, he changes the game defensively. You know, like Giannis, I don't see him. Yeah, I don't see him doing that because if he was that guy to change the game defensively, they would have put him on Jimmy Butler after he had 20 points in the first half of game one, you know. But for the coach to say, "Oh, we're just gonna go with our scheme. We're gonna yada yada yada," that shows me that the coach doesn't feel that he's a defensive stopper like that. You know, he's just a freak athlete that has the ability to block shots, to block shots and cover ground. So like I use a football analogy. Like he's kind of like the free safety. You know,
he just kind of
keeps you on your toes,
hovers around.
Just keeps you like guessing what's gonna happen.
Yeah, because like he's athletic enough that he can play passing lanes and get disruptive in passing lanes and run out and get breakaways, and he has good timing and stuff so that he can come weak side and get a block or protect the rim and all that stuff. But he's not like I need a stop kind of guy.
Yeah. Oh, well. I honestly, I don't think guards, and you guys can get this on record, I don't think guards are going to get the DPOY again for a while, man. Because looking back, it's been like Gobert, Giannis, Dre. I think but I don't think we're ever going to have like
tough.
Gary
Honestly,
Payton
it's
type.
tough because we're in the NBA now where there's no night off as a lead guard in the NBA, point guard. There's no night off. Every single team, whether it be Charlotte, whether it be Atlanta, who was friggin' horrible this year, or every team has a B minus to A plus guard. You know what I mean? Where you look at the center and the power forward position, like you have teams that are like, for instance, look at Clippers. Like they start Zubac. Sure, he's a great little utility piece, but
exactly. He's not like
that, right? So so for there to be a lockdown guard, it's tough.
Yeah, I want to say Marcus Smart, even though he's annoying, but he's a really good defender.
No, he's a very capable defender.
He's a good actor too.
No, he is.
Oh, he's a great actor, which it's funny because that's what all the top guards now they use the same. All the defensive guards, they use the same word. They call them irritants, just guys that run around and foul you or just push you off screen
or exaggerates touches to make it seem like
exactly.
I look at a player like Jaylen Brown to be like one of those players to kind of emerge themselves into that defensive player of the year area. I'm not saying that he's going to win. I'm going to say that that's what I meant. Like he has the ability to do that because if you look at how the Celtics play, he's always guarding like their toughest matchups on the team.
Yeah.
And usually if they are doing like a screen, he's guarding like the second toughest matchup there, right? So like I see him with the potential of being it, but I agree with you that it's usually just going to go to the big man at this point now.
Yeah.
But my biggest surprise, I think this year has been interesting all around, not just only because of the shutdown and a return to the bubble and all that stuff, but like I've just been shocked by everything that goes around Zion. Like I'm not gonna say like Zion should have won. I agree that Josh should have won. There's not a surprise about that. I was more shocked that he came in third in the voting, right?
As opposed to second or not at all?
Like, because I thought the way how the NBA was all like trying to push Zion from the beginning to like even how the bubble was reconstructed, and we had these conversations saying like
Yeah.
we had an easier schedule. It was kind of set up for like Zion to make the playoffs, and you'd have like Zion versus LeBron in the first round, which was like would be a money matchup. It's for him to come third in it was just shocking to me. With all the hype, for him to fall underneath Kendrick Nunn.
Well, I mean, Nunn had a really good year, though.
No, he had a great year. I'm just saying, like, from a media perspective. Not
yeah, it looked like Zion was going to run away with it at one point.
I think part of it is, and I know even though the results are the season before the bubble, I think his performance in the bubble or how it turned out in the bubble had a say in it or had like an effect.
I think so too, right?
I know part of it's not Zion's fault. Like Zion did what he did when it was needed. I think the way he was used and just the situations that they ended up in possibly had a factor into why he would go from like second place to third. That's my opinion. I don't know if it's true or not. It's like kind of a conspiracy-ish, but if I was to say it, I think that had a play in why he became third, why he ended up third instead.
That's true. All right, let's move on. So, my favorite player just got hired as the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
All over the place, man.
Let's let the coach. I'll let coach. You want to start?
Yeah,
you want to take it away?
I was just saying, like, I'm kind of all over the place. Like, part of me feels the same way that Stephen A. Smith was saying on.
Oh yeah.
Part of me feels that way.
Did you see what Charles said back to that statement that Stephen A. said? He said, pretty much. I'm just gonna paraphrase it because I don't have it right in front of me. And he was saying, I don't agree with the fact that they're calling this white privilege when opportunities like this have been given to Jason Kidd, Doc Rivers, Derek Fisher, where it was somebody that wasn't a coach before, got their first head coaching job because of being a player and given their opportunity like that. So he was like, I don't agree with them calling it white privilege because people were saying if Nash was like black or whatever, black people don't get that type of opportunity, but he named 3 people that got their coaches their start like that. So,
I mean, I guess so. Just like I was more looking at it in terms of you have players who have or people who have been on the coaching staffs for many different organizations.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like Sam Cassell, like you know, like Alvin Gentry or
my guy, man.
Like they're like Lionel Hollins or whoever else, like Ty Lue. You know, you got people who have like either winning backgrounds or they've been on the coaching staff for a while. Even like Jerry Stackhouse when he was part of the Raptors, or like you got all these black coaches for whatever who have been passed up. And I'm not saying that Nash is not the right person for the job because he's been involved in various locker rooms and he's been part of KD's camp for a while. So a decision like this doesn't just happen. Like you have to have like KD got to sign off on that. Kyrie got to sign off on it, and it's obvious that they, you know, like they got their guy. You know, so I'm not saying he's the wrong person for the job, whatever. But part of me agrees in the sense whereas like you got a league that's 85%, 90% black, and where is that match representation in the coaching positions and the GM positions and stuff, right? So that's like that part I get, but
especially in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So like,
for me, I think that the black delegation would like to trade Charles Barkley for Ernie Johnson Jr. from TNT because I don't know why every time somebody says something regarding how we're treated in the league, Charles Barkley has to step in and say some kind of foolishness, right? Like, no one asked you, Charles. Really, stay out of this one. I can see why it could be seen as white privilege. Again, I don't know the inner conversations, and based on what Francis said, if it's a KD and Kyrie thing, Kyrie of all people, who is very vocal in the community and is one of those players in the league who fights for like representation and Black Lives Matter in the community. If he and KD sign off on it, which is more important than what the public thinks about it, then I don't see why it could be a situation of white privilege. However, it would have been nice, because this was a great opportunity to bring in a Black coach, which I'm sure there's plenty of options out there to kind of like move forward this move. Because remember, it's not just about basketball at this point right now. It's about like the climate and the current situations we're facing. And that would have been a great move on the NBA's part, especially Brooklyn, to like hire give a Black coach a shot, But at the end of the day, you got to judge. It's about winning a season, about representation with the Black community, or both. So I don't have enough information to make that judgment call.
Yeah, and like part of that is like in addition to that too is like it's the type of position that he got. And what I mean by that is that like he's pretty much given a ready-made team that's ready to compete now. So if you look at that team, like the team competed this year in the playoffs, even though they got swept, they competed, in the playoffs. And they missed 7 of their top 9 players from that roster, right? So now you put that team to next year, like that team is probably the best team in the East, right? Like out the gate, and you give that team to somebody who's not done anything as a coach, not assistant coach, not head coach. He hasn't done anything as a coach in the NBA. So to give him that position, that's where I look at it like, whoa, like you got people who've been putting years up, putting in work for years, like getting notches on their belt, like getting going through their process or whatever their process, and they haven't been given that opportunity, or so. But again, I can't really speak negative to it or whatever, because he was obviously signed off from KD and Kyrie. And at the end of the day, in this climate, in this AAU NBA where everybody knows everybody wants to be friends, everyone wants to be comfortable, everyone wants to have their guy in it. Braun kind of brought this to the forefront. But in this climate, you want people around you that you're comfortable with, and it's obvious that both KD and Kyrie are comfortable with him there. So
that's what really matters at the end of the day for that team.
So for me, I look at it as, first of all, I was shocked when the news came out, because like I think it broke at like 7:30 like Calgary time, and like that was the first thing that popped up on my phone, and I was like, what? Because like it caught me up.
There was no talks of it. It was
like it wasn't one of those ones that were rumored. It wasn't anything like that. Like they kept it on the quiet, which just shows you that teams can actually do stuff and keep stuff on the quiet compared to hearing this rumor and this week and like all these media people have their own takes and stuff on it. So like it was, to me, first I was shocked, then I was happy, because I was like, I always saw him as a coach. So like I was like, okay, cool, let's see what happens when he steps into it. But then I also had the same kind of like mindset that you guys had, where it was like you could have given a coach that's put in time and effort that opportunity. I would still even like to see is it Jacques Vaughn? Mm-hmm. I would still like to see him in that role for that year with a fully healthy team, right? Like, but I also look at it in a different way too, because I'm like, there's still a few job openings right now, and I want to see who fills them, right? Like if like there's talks that Ty Lue go to Philadelphia, right? Like there's Fox, and for Alvin Gentry, like it was. I think it was just disappointing how the year played out, right? And I don't think the team really liked how they were using their star player and stuff like that, right? But like, I want to see who fills in there. Like, there's some people that I just think are supposed to be assistant coaches and not head coaches that get head coaching jobs, and then I just think that they're better as assistant coaches. And then there's some people that are assistant coaches that are really good head coach. Like Nick Nurse was a really good assistant coach and a really good head coach, right? Like it's just going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Like the way I look at it, like as I mentioned earlier, like NBA is like 85-90% black, right? And if I was to ask you right now, like how many black coaches are in the NBA right now? One, Dwayne Casey. Two, Doc Rivers. Who else?
Who's still active? Jeez.
The Indiana coach. Just got fired. Alvin Gentry got fired. It's like in a league where it's predominantly black, where is that representation, right? So that's like that's my only thought. Like that's one of my main thought process to this, because like it's tough. Like we can name, like if we go through, we can name like 60% of players on each team because they're mostly black, right? But then like I asked you like how many black coaches are there, and like and everyone's like, oh shit.
I got a question for you. Coach. Right? You're also an assistant coach, right?
Yeah.
So do you look at it as something where there's a lot of black assistant coaches, right? Do you think that they also look at that as a part of, because we look at just the head coach, right? And as the person that makes, as for casual fans, they look at it as those are the people that make the on-court calls, right? But a lot of times the head coaches don't make on-court calls without like conversations with their assistant coaches, right? Like thing. So do you think that with the large amount of black assistant coaches that there are, right? Do you think that they kind of still look at that as representation, because you're not just seeing that one coach. You're seeing you look at Toronto, you see Nick Nurse, but then you see the other coaches, right? You look at Lakers, you see Vogel, but then you still see Kidd. You know what I mean? Like you still see these black assistant coaches. Do you think that they look at it?
I mean, for sure, like that is good. It's good in the sense whereas black coaches are represented in the NBA, and then even like where I am, like ACAC or OCAA, like of course, like black coaches are represented in like those assistant roles, but it's kind of like the proverbial like glass ceiling, you know, like you see these positions that are open and the positions that you feel that you could be you could do well in, and always more often than not they're given to people who are either less qualified than you or or not as qualified as you. I don't say less qualified, but not as qualified as you, or they haven't been given as much opportunities, or you haven't been given as much opportunities as they've been given. So I mean, I don't know. Like it is still representation, but it's not nearly as much as it should be, or it's not nearly as prominent as it should be. Not. No, because especially in a league where you're like majority of your best players are black, and all of your best players are either black or not from America. Like how many white American players are there in the NBA that are legit players?
You weren't there.
I'm
No, you're spitting facts, man. Straight up, you are.
just saying, like, you look at NBA, like, I don't think there's one player right now off my head where is a white American player who is a player in the NBA. Right? Everybody's either black or European, right? So,
Yeah.
and like to me, I look at it like, I'm like, where is that shown? Like in leadership, in positions of power, like where, like the real decision makers. Like, yeah, I know, like the Lakers have Vogel, they got Jason Kidd, they had Lionel Hollins, they had what's his name, the trainer, Phil.
Yeah, Phil Handy or whatever.
So you got three people on your bench who are people of color. So yeah, so like that matters, you know. Like end of the day, like the head coach, like that converses and whatever with the assistant coaches. But at the end of the day, whatever the head coach says, that's what they do. Whatever, like most often than not, like the head coach is the scapegoat. So like, you know, like you kind of want that pressure on you. You kind of want those responsibilities. You kind of want that task, you know, and that challenge and that respect. But yeah, I don't know. I can go on all day about this, but at the end of the day, I just think that more.
So here's the last question on this topic, and then we'll move on. Right? What would you want to see more? And this is for everybody on the panel. What would you want to see more? More black head coaches, more black GMs, or more black owners?
Can we do all three?
All of them, yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm
saying.
But most, if we're ranking it,
we know that it's not going to happen overnight, right?
Yeah.
So what would, if you could make one solid change in the NBA today, out of those three, which one out of those three?
It's tough because like I want to say owner, but like the ownership in pro sports like NBA and NFL, it's like a frat. Like you can't you can't just say, oh, I have money and I want to be.
It's a boys' club for sure.
Oh yeah, like, you know, so that's tough. But like I would say for sure, like if we could get more minority owners, not only black, but like women owners and stuff. If we could get more of that stuff in the NBA, that would be, for me, the starting point, right? Because it's like from there it can only trickle down, you know, like. But I don't know, like everything, all of it. Like it's tough.
If I could, I definitely would paint it all with a black paintbrush and say everybody. I think visually speaking, it would start with coaches because they're more out front, they're more out there, and seeing that, especially for championship teams. Another thing I realized is that when's the last time we had a championship team that was coached by a black coach, right? And when was that?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
like how?
Right? Ty Lue.
10 years ago?
Oh yeah,
sorry.
Tyler. I keep forgetting about Tyler. My bad. But you don't see it often, right? But when you do, when a team wins, it's not just the players, right? It's like this is the man behind like the strategy. This is the man behind the plan, and to see that being a black coach as well would be dope. GM would be second for me because then again they're a decision maker. The owners just supply money and influence, right? But like the people who make the decisions, the people who make the plays, the people who craft the pieces together, that's the GM, the president, and I guess a coach will have a say depending on the relationship. But the owner's kind of just giving the final sign off or supplying the money needed, right? So when we're talking about like visual representation, I would say coach and GM, and then for like generational wealth and like building the community from the background, then owners come in. Because like, for example, with the whole situation with the boycott and trying to get owners more involved because LeBron demanded that owners get more involved, part of that is even a conversation or a possible conversation because of Michael Jordan, who was the only black owner there, you know. And so if we're ranking it, I would say coach, GM, and then owner for sure.
Joseph?
Yeah, I totally agree with I think we start first with the black coaches and then black GMs and then black ownership, because there's just I feel like they just they give certain coaches more leeway, whereas with black coaches, the reign is very, very short. And we saw that with Nate McMillan. Jack Vaughn, I'm not sure if he's gone back to assistant or if he's just gone completely.
No,
I don't know.
They said that they're keeping both of them on staff, but it's still not. Things can change all the time, right? So,
see, that's what I'm saying. I feel like if they bring Nash in, they should make Nash assistant and then make Jack. You know, if the train goes off the rails, boom, Steve Nash. There you go, step up. But I just feel like there's such a short leash with black coaches.
Little room for error.
And then then you have someone like Luke Walton, who's just
Tom Thibodeau.
I think he's coaching. I don't know what he's
Tom
doing.
Thibodeau has single-handedly destroyed three franchises, and he's
that's another one. And he's signed 5 years now? Now he's gonna run our boy RJ Barrett's knees into the ground.
He single-handedly destroyed Chicago. You know what I mean? Like, went to Timberwolves, blew that whole shit up.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't know, man. I feel like Thibodeau needs to coach in college because I feel like the NBA players are not trying to play 55 minutes a game, even though the game's only 48 minutes.
I think Joseph doesn't want a next batch of NBA drafts because he's still down there.
Because they're running these guys into the ground, bro. Like, man.
But yeah, no, I get it. I just wanted to get you guys' input on that one. All right, so let's move to something a little more lighthearted then. Who has impressed you the most during the playoffs so far?
Like player?
Not team, player. Like which player has impressed you the most?
Like I don't know. Maybe Jamal Murray, just because I didn't expect what's going on. Like maybe Jamal Murray, but like everyone who's there right now, like what's going on is what I expected. You know, like I expected Toronto and Boston to have a good series. I expected maybe I'll say I'm most unimpressed with Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was gonna be my follow-up question after. But all right, answer both.
Maybe we should just jump to that.
But like maybe that, but like the two that stick out to me that like I'm like, okay, well, I didn't expect this to happen from Jamal Murray. Like he's taking big shots, making big shots. He's leading his team. He's the emotional support. He's everything with that team, you know. And Jimmy Butler, like I knew when that trade happens, like we said earlier that like they can be the dark horse. They're a matchup nightmare. They're scary, and they have a little grit and like mean streak to them.
Yeah.
And that's all from Jimmy. But like you're seeing how much of a leader he is. You're really seeing his like DNA kind of trickle down to these other kids. Like Hero is playing. Like they're not playing great basketball. They're just playing great team basketball. Like they're playing for each other. You know, like nobody. No. Like even Jimmy Butler. Like he had 41 game, and then next game he had what, like 12 or whatever. Like like
12.
You know what I mean? Like so like they're not playing. Like he's not playing great individual basketball. But as a team, like they're all playing for each other. They're all making plays for each other. They're being selfless. Like like Dragic is playing well. Like Nunn came back and he's producing, and same thing with Hero and Duncan Robinson. Like they're all doing what like Iggy's in the game and he's playing defense, and other dude, the high flyer dude, what's his name?
Derrick Jones.
Oh,
Jones. Yeah.
Jones.
He's getting in there. Like they're all doing what they need to do for their team. So I think that's what was making this really special. And I think Jimmy is kind of the catalyst of that. But yeah, those would be my two guys.
Impressed, same as Murray. Just because I think part of it is because I don't think I expected that Utah series to be as like grinding grit as it was.
Back and forth.
Yeah, and he stepped up. He didn't shy away, and whenever he wasn't producing on the scoreboard, he was producing in other ways. and he kind of like dispelled that whole Canadian softness image that people usually have of Canadian players. And then most unimpressed. I'm not most unimpressed by Giannis because this is kind of like similar to what we saw last year. So I'm not surprised. I'm actually not upset either because it's proving more of a case that he should be wearing Raptors red next season. Come to a real team. But unimpressed is the guy who I'm now calling Splenda P, because I was expecting much more from Siakam than I see. So he has to re-earn the spicy P. Now he's down. He went all the way down to Splenda P. I was calling him mild P for a second, and now he went down to Splenda. You can't be not failing to back down a smaller defender. You can't be like on a runaway break and then look for the pass behind you before just driving to the basket and drawing the foul. You can't be picking up fouls early to try to get out the game early. You can't be making I mind you, the last game he played, Game 4, he was starting to come back. Like he had 23 points. So he's starting to brush off the funk. But for 3 games, I was calling him Splenda P, man. That
know who he was.
And imagine if he wasn't. Imagine if he was Spicy P, how that series would be right now. Instead of us relying on a half-second shot from OG, But most unimpressed right now is Splenda P. But hopefully that changes tomorrow.
Joseph.
All right, I'll start with the most unimpressed. Listen, you know what? It's not even a player; it's a coach, Coach Bud. You know what? He doesn't even coach the Raptors. Every time I see him play against Miami, it's almost like he's playing like Spoelstra's playing chess and he's playing Monopoly or something. Like he doesn't know what is going on. They're hitting them with all types of different defense, and it's just he can't get Giannis the ball. Giannis is taking like 4 shots in like the fourth quarter and stuff. It just,
but part of that is
they just
like
schemes too.
Schemes, but it's their skill set. Like kind of going back to what Essay said. Like if Giannis came to Toronto, that would be awful because him and Siakam, they're the same player, and there's no floor spacing. So like that would be awful.
You just don't have Siakam on at the same time.
So you're gonna have Siakam off the bench.
If he, depends how he finishes this season. Yeah, depends. Come on, this is like
you just
gave him a max deal, yo.
You guys just gave him the bag.
I know.
He'll be fine.
I'm just being emotional. I know.
but those two skill sets together, it will not. I don't think personally it will not work out. There's just not enough spacing on the floor, and you're seeing that kind of with the Lakers series. Like when they have Braun and the 2 bigs in the game, like the spacing, is tough.
It's crowded.
Tough, right? So to have I think Gasol also has a year left.
No, Gasol and Ibaka until last year.
Mark, so Mark, no gas Gasol. That Mark, he's off. This is last season.
It's from what I remember, it was Gasol, Ibaka, Van Vliet are all free agents this season.
Okay.
I mean, I think Giannis can go to Houston. He can go to Golden State, and he'll be scary good. You think he's good now? He'll be scary good on those teams, but it's matchups.
No room for Pascal's spin move, I guess.
You're gonna have 2 of them doing
Giannis spin move.
You're gonna have 2 of them doing ballet.
Hey,
two tornadoes.
Synchronized spinning.
Hey man,
Giannis spin and Pascal just spins just for support.
Tell you, man.
And then when they're done, they're gonna do this.
Wonder Twins unite. Joseph, who are you impressed with? You jumped right into who you're on.
Oh yeah. We'll get to the happy stuff. I just had to get that out of there. Take a quick shot at Coach Bud. That fraud. But just most impressed, I want to say Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum. Like, I knew Tatum was going to play well, but he's becoming, I won't say more of a leader than Kemba, but he's becoming the guy where when they need a bucket to either stop the bleeding or just trigger a run, they're like, yo, Jason Tatum. And they just let him work, so it's good.
For me, I'm not, like, I'm impressed by what Jamal Murray did. I'm impressed with Donovan Mitchell. I'm impressed by that whole series, to tell you the truth. I think it was a really good series to watch. Like, it was like the last 3 games from game 5 to game 7, I would say was considered like a must watch because you just didn't know what the performances were going to be like. I'm actually really impressed with Jay Crowder. He's been hitting some big shots in big moments. Like, they might not be considered the game-winning shots, but it'll be like he always hits a timely shot, like in all the games. Like whether it's the first or second round, like he's really impressed me. I knew it was going to be a big pickup for Miami when they got him. I just didn't know how big of a pickup like that one was going to be. Who I'm not impressed with. Man, former champion.
Oh my God.
He's on Coach Francis's team.
So you're not impressed with?
Not impressed with. Mr. Danny Green. Like, he was brought over there for a role, and I don't know what happened. It was like from the finals last season with the Raptors where he won the championship. He just brought that whole thing over. Like, I've seen him get open shots after open shots, and it's just, man, the man could have built a whole like condo unit. Like, it was a whole brick complex. It was brick after brick. Like, it was crazy. I think Lakers would be winning way more if he hit like 5 more shots. Like it's just different. Like,
oh, Danny Green not performing in the playoffs? Wow. Shocker, man.
But like, I thought it'd be a little bit different with the team that he was on. Like, for Raptors last year, he came in the trade package, right? Like, it wasn't like we were going DeRozan for Danny Green, so you don't have the highest expectation for him to perform. Like, if Kawhi didn't perform, we'd be upset, right? Like, Danny Green not really performing, we're like, okay, cool, we know he's still on that 1-year term too. We got him in the trade. But like, him signing to Lakers, Bron being the passer that he is, AD being able to spread the floor like he can, like KCP's been outplaying him. Like, I saw Rondo come back and hit more shots than him. I was like, wait, like, you're supposed to be the shooter. Like, how is
with an injured hand?
Yeah, like, how is Rondo out shooting? Like, I don't know, man. It was just, yeah, that's my own. I had to go different from you guys, you know.
It's well justified.
All right, so let's get to the last topic. So out of the 4 series that are going on right now, Heat, Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Clippers, Denver, and Lakers, Rockets. Which series are you guys expecting to really go 7, and who do you have winning in the 7?
I think the only series that can go 7 is the Boston series. And so I think that's the only one where I called out the gate. I'm like, they're matched up so evenly. Like, you go down the roster, like, they both have small guards who play tough and play bigger than they are, like Marcus Smart and Kemba and Van Vliet and Lowry. Like those are probably the two smallest backcourts in the NBA. Then like both teams have multiple wing defenders and length who can like switch and shoot, and like you got like OG, Powell, and then you look at Boston, the same thing. They got like Tatum, Brown, like Gordon Hayward when he's there, you know. And then you got like big. So like that's the only series where I'm like, okay, yo, they match up really, really, really well, and that has to go 7. Lakers, like I have that going 6. Milwaukee, I thought I was gonna go 6, but that might be a sweep after
might be today. Might be.
I just remember I said on when we did the round 2 picks, it's up on YouTube right now, the YouTube exclusive.
Check that out.
I said 5 games, and a coach gave me a look. And now I'm feeling even happier with my choice of 5 games. I just like I said in that video, and I'll say it here again. I was not impressed with Milwaukee against Orlando, and that was an Orlando team that really shouldn't have been in any games, and they could have won a few of those games. Like they just don't have shooters. Like besides for Vucevic and Terrence Ross. There's nobody really that spreads the floor there. Like you'll live with Fultz shooting threes because he might hit 1 out of 10. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they were in games.
Mm-hmm.
So I just knew them going against Miami, who's a way better shooting team.
And defensive.
Yeah.
Defensive, man.
It just wouldn't have been. But what do you think about how far do you think the Clipper-Denver one's going to go, Coach?
Like, I have it 6. Well, I don't know. Like that Denver is so night and day, and like I don't know. Like Clippers are night and day as well. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Clippers are night and day too.
It's tough. Like the reason why like I'm not worried about no one in the West as a Laker fan is because like I know what I'm going to get from Bron and AD. No matter, like I know they're gonna give me 25 and 6 and 6, whatever, right? So like, as the others I'm worried about, but like in regards to Clippers, like you don't know what you're getting with Paul George, like you just don't know, right? And
way off P.
Pandemic P, yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like you just don't know what you get with him, and like Denver shouldn't have a chance in this series, in my opinion. They just shouldn't have a chance.
Yeah,
but
last night.
But you watched last night and you're like, bro, they're down 20 in the first quarter.
Yep.
Like what the hell? Like at least the Lakers game, like I know, like the Lakers in that whole series, like it's tough to watch because they're so polar opposites. Like Lakers slow the game down. They want to play with 2 bigs. They want to play inside out, and Rockets want to shoot 53s and spread and all that. So like that's what makes a series so intriguing. But Lakers should dominate the next 3 games and go up 3-1, in my opinion. But in that Clippers series, man, like I don't know. So 6 could be 5. Shit, it could go 7 games. I just don't know in that series because both teams.
You just never know what you're getting with them.
Yeah, they're just so up and down. Like there's no only consistent in both those on those teams is Kawhi. He's the only consistent where I'm like, okay, I know I'm getting with Kawhi, but even like Joker, like Game 7, he was great. Last night, he was great. Game 1, he was invisible. And then Jamal Murray, like Game 3, 4, 5, he was great. Game 7, he was horrible. Game 1, he was bad. Last night, he was good. Like so, it's like.
Active Joker didn't wake up Game 7.
They're
talking about different things.
Yeah.
They were lost.
So like you just don't know from those guys what you're getting, and it's tough to really like say like how that series is gonna go. It's just just watch it.
Yeah.
For me, I know I said it in the exclusive that I had Boston and Toronto going to 7. But then I looked back at my picks and I remembered this thing I now coined the Canadian sweep, where Raptors will give up 2 games and then win 4 straight. We've seen that last year. So I am saying that I think we're going to have another Canadian sweep. I think we finally kind of woken up in this series. And I'm not saying it's going to be an easy walk through. Definitely not. Both teams, as coach said, are evenly matched defensively and offensively. I think the X factor in all of this is kind of like Splenda P. Like if he goes back to Scotch bonnet level, then we might be talking about a different series. But I have that going to a Canadian sweep. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, it is what it is. I realized too that watching the game 1 or game 2 was game 3 when we were a second down and they put Taco on Lowry and we had half a second to make a 3 or a 2. I realized I wasn't as frantic or antsy or anxious as I normally am. And I realized because we've gone through tons of C series like this, we've been kind of built and conditioned for. So Raptor fan kind of felt like OG did after he made that shot. It's like, oh, okay, we're still not done. I know you see us, we kind of hop and jump and celebrate. And mostly it's not because we're we have an ego or anything. It's mostly because we have everybody against us. When I hear NBA on TNT, the way they talk about us, when I hear everybody the way we talk about it, even Toronto mans, the way they talk about some of them, it's we have everybody against us. Everybody wants us. Even the ref kind of had a stink face when we won. He's supposed to be neutral. So we have this Toronto versus everybody mentality. So our cockiness is not because we're we feel a superior team to everybody. Our cockiness is because we have everything going against us, and here we are. We're still here. We're still standing. So I hope, and I think that the closest to a 7 would be Boston and Toronto, but I'm hoping for a Canadian sweep. And yeah, just like Coach, I don't know what's going on with Denver and the Clippers. Lakers and Houston, I think you have a better idea of where that series is going to go tonight. And then for,
this guy's got the LeBron nod, yo.
I don't mean to cut you, but the one thing I hate, I said in the group chat, I hate watching LeBron play because he always fucking
in game 1.
I hate it. And then it's one thing to watch it and as a basketball fan, analyst or whatever you want to call yourself, somebody who watches the game and just you can see what he's doing. You can see that he's trying to get people involved, get guys feeling well. You can see you watch him play, you can see it. But don't tell me that you're doing that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I call it research and development.
Yo, that's what I'm saying, man. This first game's always research and development.
This man came out. What do you say? He said something about we used game 1 to see how fast Houston is. Bro.
Oh my god.
Playoffs.
What? Don't tell me that because now I'm pissed off. I'm okay, so
stop playing with your food, man.
Honestly,
because you have that and you're okay. Houston didn't even shoot the ball well game 1. They didn't shoot the ball well. They didn't shoot the ball well. So I'm Houston's gonna have a game where they shoot lights out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So for you to give away game 1 essentially because they were up 10-0 in the first quarter. So you can see when they put their foot on the pedal that they do the thing. But for you to tell me that Houston didn't play good. Now it's okay, so shit. What if tonight James goes for 50 tonight? Yeah. James Harden goes for 50 tonight, and now you're down 0-2. Now what are you gonna do? Oh shit. Now I gotta go 0-30. I hate that.
We're working on something in the lab.
Yeah. I hate.
Well, he wanted to see how, he wanted to research how it feels if James Harden gets 50, so then he knows how to move forward from there too.
Wrong. Lakers will win in 6. Well, in my opinion, they'll win in 6 just because Houston. We've all seen Houston go through stretches where they just can't hit shit, and So as a shooting team,
PJ Tucker can only do so much, man.
Exactly, and and as a shooting team, they're gonna go through a stretch where they don't hit. But my expectation is that Lakers should they should just punish them on the interior and force them to react to you. Whereas right now, as I watch the game one, I'm like, you're reacting to everything that Houston does. Like you're not like you don't know what they're gonna do to you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they're going to spread you out. You know, they're going to go pick and roll. You know, they're going to go ISO. You know, they're going to push the ball. You know, they're going to try and get into the key, kick it out to shooters. You know, that's going to happen already. So now, like, how do you counteract that?
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, whatever.
Hopefully that R&D comes into play today.
What's that?
The research that LeBron was doing in game one. Hopefully he puts that to use today.
I'm a Laker fan through and through, but I can't like. I know how great LeBron is, all right, and I've said that before. Like, he's probably the best player of basketball we've ever seen, ever. But
over
best player of basketball.
Yes, bro.
It's not like, but like if you look at everything, intangibles, everything together, like Jordan and Kobe are ahead of him.
You mean technically, like the best, like basketball technician kind of
player of basketball, not like just somebody who just goes out there and plays the game.
Yeah,
okay. LeBron is probably the best player of basketball we've ever seen because there's nothing that he can't do. Mind like he shoots the ball iffy sometimes. The free throw is iffy other times.
Yeah,
you know, as I say, you know that stuff. But like, and like he passes the ball. He just his tempo for his feel for the game. But I'm choosing Jordan and Kobe over them because they're winners. They're not only players of basketball; they will their team to win. They are winners. And I said it before, like if Bron was to give me what he's given me in certain stretches in his career, so like him when he scored 25 versus Detroit, him when he was down 3-1 in Cleveland, if he was to give me that over his career, then I might have a different take between him and Kobe and him and Jordan. If he was to give me that, but he has to give me like that. That's like small sample sizes in his big career. In 17 years, I've seen. I can pick out 3 or 4 times where I've seen Bron impress me, right? And you can't do that with Kobe and Jordan. Like, you think Jordan and Kobe would give away game one?
No.
Come on, man.
Also, well, they're not researchers. you gotta
Dr. James.
Yeah, you gotta realize, like, he taught 2 Chainz about bonus albums. That's true. That's the only.
Wait, what?
So last 2 Chainz album, LeBron said that he's a hip hop connoisseur, and so he told him, told 2 Chainz that he needs to put out a deluxe album because that's what the fans really wanted, and he said that 2 Chainz didn't really know about the deluxe, so whatever. But I don't actually think the deluxe album came out, so I don't know what I don't know. But he's a researcher, man.
he's an R&D guy, man.
Yeah.
He definitely is. He
needs to forget the baby powder and just put on a lab coat. That's what he needs to do.
Coach didn't seem too impressed by that story. All right, Joseph.
I'm so glad MJ's not here for this episode.
Oh, he'd be going crazy. You'd be going crazy right now, man.
Oh, man.
Joseph, what's your choice?
In the West, the Denver Clippers series Clippers should win that in 6 games.
No, but like
on paper,
I think Denver can squeeze one more game, and then I think they're going to run out of gas.
Like how are they even in the games?
It's I think Kawhi is honestly the only adult on the team.
That's it.
Like he's the only and I really think, and I hate saying this, but I feel like he's the only person with any type of like high basketball IQ. Like Paul George, he's dope, but I feel like he's just, you know, those guys, they're just getting by on just raw talent, and then when they actually have to just think, they don't know what's going on.
Throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks.
This is what I'm saying. Patrick Beverley's just running around, getting ejected, playing like I don't even know how many minutes he played. Gets ejected, doesn't even shower probably, and just goes and put on his his
what
post-game
kind of headlines
clothing.
are you guys trying to take from this chat room podcast?
Bro, man, you know what? I feel like the Clippers they're like that team that comes to a tournament that feels that they're just gonna crush every team, and then they beat the first team by 10. They start talking, then they go on to lose the tournament, like get blown out by
the fans because the listeners of this podcast the only part they're gonna take from that whole thing is you
Man
saying
doesn't shower.
the man doesn't shower,
Man doesn't shower.
and
Oh, he's
And-
dirty.
Yo, you called him Summer Walker? What's going on?
He's
and the
dirty,
worst
man.
part
He's
was,
dirty.
and the next one was that he said that Paul George has the raw talent to play basketball, but if he has to think, it goes.
Oh yeah, bro. Come on, man. You got listen. We're all men here. We all see how this guy plays. Like, come on. But yeah,
You're attacking the man's
so yeah,
hygiene regiment, man.
I feel like I still think Clippers are going to win in 6 for that one. Lakers, I feel like they need to wrap it up in 6 games because even I'm a James Harden fan and I know this guy is horrible in game 7s, but I feel like he gets up to play against the Lakers
him
for some
and Russ.
from LA or whatever.
Him and Russ.
Yeah, him and Westbrook. Like, I think that's the one series besides the Toronto one, which I really wish we could have had that in front of fans because that would have been a crazy series in Staples Center.
Yeah.
But
Well, no.
yeah. So I think
mean
Lakers
that
in
would be a
6.
crazy series, but also like if we are fortunate to get Clippers and Lakers, if we could have had that for the fans, that would have been crazy.
Yeah,
Staples Center would have been.
That would have been crazy.
rocking, bro.
Yeah.
They would probably have to separate
Yeah,
the
like
crowd,
that would be like
which would be sick. Like
that remind me of like
we might have a Malice in the Palace.
yeah,
like
that would be dope.
or like even like
Stampede in the Staples.
like soccer when they have like everybody wearing blue, everybody wearing yellow.
Yeah,
That would be so tough.
It might be the only games where you see Jack Nicholson and Billy Crystal.
Yeah, it would.
That would be tough. Like if we had the fans for that,
Crazy. But yeah, in the East, I'm not gonna look at the score right now, so I'm gonna hope that Milwaukee can squeeze a game out and then just get sent home. But Miami's winning that series. Raptors,
They're searing the deer.
Raptors. I feel like it's gonna
I just got
go
a notification.
7 games.
I just got notification just now.
Oh my! Did they get swept? All
Giannis heads to the locker room with ankle injury in the second quarter.
right, so they're getting swept.
Yo, it's
Live here on the chat room pod.
That's what I'm saying. Just with the earpiece.
Wait,
Hold on, I'm getting an update.
what was his rank? Did Bleacher Report have him 10? It's his time to take over, Chris Middleton. He's gonna pull
Top 10 player in the league, remember?
He's gonna get them one, yo.
Oh, God. I'm just glad. This is some good basketball, man.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. We might have to wrap this up right now so I can go watch Chris get them one. So I'm guessing, Joseph, you're gonna say Raptors Celtics is gonna be the game.
Yeah, I think that one's gonna go. I think that's 7 games. It should be 7 games. Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna say the same thing. Toronto, Boston. I think it's gonna go 7, but I want Toronto to win in 6. I just
Canadian sweep, baby.
Yeah, I just have a fear if they get to 7, how the game will play out. And I think the Denver Clipper series will go 7, just because they're both, like you said, Coach, they're both night and day. So like it's gonna be one game. They're gonna, let's say Denver's night, Clippers is gonna be day. Like it's just gonna go back and forth to me. Like I just don't know what to expect from any of them. So out of those series, I'm saying they have the highest chance of going 7. So we got to the point where we get to plug whatever stuff is coming up in our social media. So Essay, you want to start off?
All right, so I'm at Pro Chatterbox. When you go there, you'll hopefully by the time this episode drops, we have stuck to our launch date of this Monday, September the 7th, 2020. So you can find the information at Pro Chatterbox, and there we'll launch our podcast, Talks with the Chatterbox, with me and a baritone Levy over here. But yeah, that's going down. And then hopefully we'll be able to launch our second episode at our regular scheduled time, which would be Wednesday, the following Wednesday, which is, I think, the 9th. So 9/9/2020. But that's it. Yeah.
Nope. Coach?
Real deal _Francis. We're back in the gym at State on the 8th, so that's what, Tuesday. Get going again on Tuesday, so that should be exciting. Do some conditioning stuff, some team stuff. So yeah, that's about it.
Dope. Joseph?
Instagram Baritone Levy, like Sean was saying before, Talks with the Chatterbox hopefully comes out tomorrow. We've been on Colored People time, but we're back now, so we're actually for real this time. So, but just check that out.
Dope. And you can find me at The Senator. Make sure to tune into the Not So Soft podcast. Drops every Friday. Make sure to subscribe to our Instagram page at the.chatroompod. Make sure to follow, subscribe, and click the notification button on our YouTube channel because we upload YouTube exclusives directly to there. And make sure to subscribe to us wherever you listen to audio podcasts. So we're on everywhere. We on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google, and third-party podcast apps. So this has been the Chat Room Podcast, your favorite baller's favorite podcast, and we are out. Peace.